Have you ever wondered what the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath is? It's a question that has sparked intrigue and debate for many years. Both terms, psychopath and sociopath, often get used interchangeably in popular culture and media. But let's set the record straight. They are not the same. Each term represents a unique set of characteristics, behaviors, and underlying factors that separate them as distinct psychological constructs. Psychopathy and sociopathy are both antisocial personality disorders, but that's where the similarities end. They are distinct in their root causes, manifestations, and interactions with the world around them. Both psychopaths and sociopaths can be charming, manipulative, and disconcerting, but their motivations, empathy levels, and ability to form connections vary greatly. Psychopaths, for instance, are often described as cold-hearted and calculating. They have a tendency to plan their actions meticulously and can blend seamlessly into society, undetected. On the flip side, sociopaths are typically more impulsive, with their actions often being the result of a lack of forethought rather than a calculated strategy. They struggle to maintain a normal life and are often seen as loners. Even the origins of these disorders are different. Psychopathy is believed to be largely the result of genetics, while sociopathy is more often tied to environmental factors like upbringing and traumatic experiences, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We'll delve into these differences more in the upcoming scenes. Unraveling the complexities of psychopathy and sociopathy is no small feat. It requires a deep dive into the human psyche and exploration of the darkest corners of the mind. It's a journey that may leave us with more questions than answers, but one that is certainly worth taking. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into these complex psychological constructs. Imagine a person who feels no remorse, no guilt, and has a complete disregard for others. You are now picturing a psychopath. Psychopathy, a term often used interchangeably with sociopathy, is a complex personality disorder that is characterized by a number of distinct traits. Chief among these is a lack of empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. This absence of empathy can often lead to callous and ruthless behavior, as the psychopath is incapable of feeling any genuine concern for the well-being of others. Yet, despite this deficiency, psychopaths often exhibit a superficial charm that can be incredibly persuasive. This charisma is a mask, a facade used to manipulate those around them for personal gain or amusement. They can be master manipulators, using their charm to exploit others without a second thought. Interestingly, research suggests that psychopathy may have a biological origin. Some studies indicate that psychopaths may have differences in brain structure and function that contribute to their behavior. This is not to say that all psychopaths are born, not made. Environmental factors can also play a significant role. But it does suggest that psychopathy is not simply a matter of bad behavior. It is a complex interplay of nature and nurture. Perhaps the most chilling aspect of psychopathy is the psychopath's ability to blend in. They can appear perfectly normal, even charming to the untrained eye. This ability to hide in plain sight, coupled with their lack of empathy and manipulative behavior, makes psychopaths potentially very dangerous. They can cause significant harm, both emotionally and physically, without feeling any remorse or guilt. So the next time you encounter someone who seems too charming to be true, remember this: beneath that captivating exterior could lie a psychopath. A person who feels no remorse, no guilt, and has a complete disregard for others. Psychopaths, with their innate ability to manipulate and deceive, can be quite dangerous. Now imagine a person who is volatile, impulsive, and cannot maintain relationships. You have just envisioned a sociopath. A sociopath typically exhibits traits that are disruptive and unsettling. Chief among these is impulsivity. Unlike the rest of us who take a moment to think before we act, a sociopath is often driven by the spur of the moment. This impulsivity can manifest in various ways, from reckless driving to impromptu decisions that can have serious consequences. Another defining characteristic of a sociopath is their inability to form genuine, lasting relationships. While they can be charming and engaging, this is usually a facade to manipulate others. They lack the empathy required to forge true connections, and often leave a trail of broken relationships in their wake. Their relationships are typically shallow, and are based on what they can gain, rather than mutual respect or affection. Sociopaths also exhibit a blatant disregard for societal norms and rules. They do not feel bound by the same rules that govern the rest of us. This disregard is not due to a lack of understanding, but rather a belief that they are above these rules. They can violate these norms without feeling any guilt or remorse. In fact, they may even take pleasure in breaking rules and pushing boundaries. One crucial point to understand about sociopathy is that it is often linked to environmental factors. Unlike psychopathy, which is believed to have a genetic component, sociopathy is typically the result of negative environmental influences. This could be childhood trauma, neglect, or abuse. It's important to remember that while these factors can contribute to sociopathy, they do not excuse or justify the harmful behaviors exhibited by sociopaths. In the grand scheme of things, sociopaths, with their volatile and impulsive nature, can be a disruptive force in society. Their inability to conform to societal norms and lack of genuine relationships can cause ripple effects that extend far beyond their immediate circle. Sociopaths, with their unpredictable behavior, can be a disruptive force in society. While they might seem similar at first glance, psychopaths and sociopaths have crucial differences. Both these terms are used in the realm of psychology to describe individuals who exhibit antisocial behavior, lack of remorse or guilt, and a disregard for the rights of others. However, the devil, as they say, is in the details. Psychopaths, for instance, are often seen as cold and calculating, capable of planning their actions in advance and without any empathy for others. Their behavior is more consistent, often leading them to be successful in their chosen fields. They can form relationships, but these are typically shallow and serve their own interests. Sociopaths, on the other hand, are more impulsive, unable to plan ahead to the same extent. They can form emotional attachments, though these are often fraught with difficulties due to their inability to fully understand or adhere to societal norms. Their behavior can be erratic, and they are often unable to maintain steady employment or lasting relationships. The cause of these conditions is another area of difference. Psychopathy is generally believed to be a result of genetics, a product of nature, if you will. Sociopathy, conversely, is more often attributed to a person's environment, their upbringing, or traumatic experiences they might have gone through, a product of nurture, so to speak. These distinctions, though subtle, are significant. A psychopath, with their calculated actions and lack of empathy, might be more dangerous in certain circumstances. A sociopath, with their impulsive behavior and capacity for emotional attachment, might be more unpredictable. By understanding these differences, we can better comprehend the complexities of human behavior. We can begin to appreciate the myriad ways in which our minds, our genes, and our environments interact to shape who we are. It helps us to empathize, to avoid quick judgments, and to approach each individual with an open mind. Understanding these differences can help us better navigate interactions and relationships with these individuals. So, are psychopaths and sociopaths just labels, or do they reflect a deeper reality? Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned today. We started off by unveiling the mystery behind these two terms, psychopath and sociopath, often thrown around casually in everyday conversation. We learned that they aren't merely labels, they represent distinct patterns of behavior that result from complex interplays of genetic and environmental factors. We dove into the world of the psychopath, a person who may appear normal, even charming, but harbors a profound lack of empathy and remorse. We discussed how they're often manipulative, calculated, and maintain a veneer of normalcy, even while causing harm to others. Then, we turned our attention to the sociopath. Unlike psychopaths, sociopaths are more impulsive and erratic. They may struggle to form relationships and fit into society due to their blatant disregard for societal norms and the rights of others. However, like psychopaths, they too lack empathy and remorse, traits that are fundamental to our shared human experience. In our journey through the mind of these individuals, we noted some key differences too. While psychopathy is believed to be largely innate, a product of biology, sociopathy is often linked to environmental factors such as childhood trauma or neglect. The psychopath's manipulations are typically more calculated and covert, while the sociopath's actions are often more impulsive and obvious. But amidst these differences, the common thread that binds the two is their lack of empathy and remorse, a disregard for the rights of others, and a propensity for manipulative behavior. And it's these qualities that make them a matter of concern, not just for psychologists, but for all of us. So, as we wrap up, remember this: the terms psychopath and sociopath are not just labels we slap onto people who behave badly. They are tools that help us understand complex human behavior, allowing us to identify, understand, and hopefully manage such behaviors better. Remember, these terms are not just labels, but tools that help us understand complex human behavior.